Poems for Waiting Rooms. These 3 poems were all written while I was receiving treatment for breast cancer. It was a life-changing journey, but I set myself 2 rules. One is, in a waiting room, I would write poems, and they would all be life-enhancing. And it really worked, because sometimes I'd be sitting there waiting for treatment, a nurse would come in and call me, and I'd think, I'm in the middle of a poem. I want to get a rhyme. I'd totally forgotten the stress of actually waiting for the treatment. This first poem was written after diagnosis and while I was waiting for my operation. It's called Fenella Feeds. Fenella feeds. Fenella feeds the birds. I wonder, does she know the elegant grey wood pigeon, the pointy blackened crow are dining in her garden? The cram-ram stuffed seed bags hang heavy-hearted and rent wide open to the elements in her winter garden. First up ventures the seedy sideways sparrows, startling and fluttering they go, when in glides a blackbird, purple-songed and perfect. Last night, Fenella fed me with conversation and healthy food, olives and salad for tea, which she knew for sure would give me heart and do me good. Fenella feeds the squirrels too. She's entertained them unawares. They've flagged up their frothy tails, stared their round-eyed stares, and feasted in her garden. I watched their tails wave, so friendly at me, while preparing to leap from rock-solid roof tiles to scary naked tree. From swaying branch to precarious twigs, across the chasm below they go, and I think to myself, do you know, if they can do that, I can do it too, as I make the leap into the future. This next poem was written while I was in the middle of chemotherapy and sitting in waiting rooms, waiting for my chemo. Jack in the Box. Always been a jack of all trades, bit of this and a bit of that, never unskilled, never adept, covering up the raw edges with a fuzz of enthusiasm. Always been a jack-in-a-box, keen on surprises, responding to hard knocks by jumping up and grinning, a bobbing ball of bounce. Things changed after treatment this morning. My spring coiled tight, the sun so hot and bright, the heat had a government health warning. How could I forget the value of stillness? As I lie immobile, at peace, on my bed, with cello music flowing through my head. By my side, a glass vase of freshly picked, long-stalked lavender blooms. A perfect prime number of flowers, arranged like purple planets, exhaling their garden perfume into the warm evening air. How could I forget the joy of being still? I'm writing this down in the hope I never will. This poem was written at the end of all the chemotherapy when I went on a holiday to Boggle Hole near Scarborough, and I was getting ready to prepare myself for the journey into and through radiotherapy. Boggle Hole. We're going to Boggle Hole. I'm not afraid of boggles. I've seen one and wrestled him with my bare hands. I've thrown him down into his hole to sit on the sand and reflect honestly on his badness. We're going to walk along the beach and leave our footprints in the sand. We're going to climb the highest rock and stand, arms outstretched, breathing in the sea air. We'll squelch our toes through rich, dark mud, sharing the grounds where dinosaurs once stood. We'll watch as herring gulls fight over food and scan the horizon for stray pterodactyls. In the evening, tired, we'll go home to our cottage. The Boggle will have learnt his lesson by then. He'll know it's a waste to print the shadow of his face on our flowered curtains. He'll stay away and keep his place in the darkling depths of the marsh. We'll sit by the window and gaze out while the warm rain makes crystal ball patterns on the glass. We'll look out to sea, we'll look into the future and the past, and we'll look into each other's eyes. I'll encircle you with my arms and squeeze you tight. We'll cry and we'll laugh till our hearts leap high as flames burn to the farthest reaches of the sky and embers of joy rekindle in the sweet air of the night. And all this happened 15 years ago, and as I can see, I'm well and happy. Hope you found it helpful.